Hi, I'm Charlotte and today we're going to explore some collage. So before I get started on making my own collages, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the history behind the method. So before we get started on today's activity, let's have a brief kind of history of collage. It's got quite an interesting journey through time and it's been picked up by many different artists. So I thought it might be worth having a little chat about what collage is and where it's come from. So collage dates back originally to the 10th century, where Japanese calligraphers would glue selections of paper to their surfaces and for when they were writing poems. And that kind of practice continued until it eventually fell out of favour. It doesn't really arrive in Europe until the Middle Ages, when artists started applying gold leaf and gems to a selection of religious art, and this kind of spread it through Europe, with many artists picking up on that idea. Sounds very glamorous to me, really. Nice bit of gold, never goes wrong. After which it kind of sort of reignites in the 18th century. And one of the best examples of 18th century collage is the wonderful work of Mary Knie. When she was in her late 70s, she began to create detailed and botanically accurate depictions of plants using tissue paper, which she also hand coloured. And she created over 900 works, so actually closer to 1,000, between the ages of 71 and 88. So she was very prolific in her making, and she became so popular with with many kind of donors sending her flowers to recreate. Her portfolio of work can actually be found at the British Museum, so I highly recommend checking her out. They're beautiful. They're really, really beautiful. And also sort of slightly later, in the 19th century, collaging sort of became really popular again with Victorian hobbyists, so particularly Victorian aristocrats even, creating whimsical and fantastical images that were created through watercolour and photography collage. So they take some portraits of their friends, their family, and add them into these almost Alice in Wonderland surrealist kind of landscapes, or even still life setups. So they were quite adventurous in what they've done. But I suppose the biggest thing is that actually a lot of collage might have been created through this time, but a lot of art authorities don't really kind of acknowledge these sort of dabbles of art, collage within art, and actually kind of says that collage really hit the scene in the early stages of modernism. So this includes Cubist artists George Braque and Pablo Picasso exploring collage techniques in their paintings. Also moves on to surrealist artists many of which have made extensive volumes of collage works, and also used it as a source of inspiration for some of their paintings. But arguably one of the most famous collage artists within that period would have been Henri Matisse, who once said he'd never fully, truly started expressing himself as an artist until he started working with collage. So hopefully that's a line to inspire you. Definitely is a kind of inspirational artist of mine. He's a fantastic use of colour, shape, and brings a lot of fun to collaging. So maybe his work might inspire you. And finally, I suppose the most recent kind of collaging, and something that the activities explore today, is this sort of photo montage. So using, kind of harking back to that Victorian hobbyist, where they take photos of their friends and merge them into weird and wonderful landscapes. We're exploring today images from magazines, found images, so maybe old printouts, anything you can get your hands on to kind of create these images. So that's what we're exploring the activities today, and that's actually probably one of the final stages of photo kind of collage I wanted to talk to you about, is the photo montage. It was particularly used by pop art artists and is still very popular with artists today, including John Steezer, who describes the technique as the opening of the conscious. So hopefully the artists that we've spoken about today will inspire you, and it's time to take a look at those videos. So this first collage I've made, no scissors required. I've just taken a collection of images from some old printouts, and I've also had a look through some old magazines as well, and I've just torn sections of it. So this is quite a nice one if you're feeling a bit angry, you want to do a bit of a tear. It's also something that helps you really concentrate if you're really trying to tear out a picture carefully from a magazine. So let's see how I get on. So the second collage I made focused more on colour and pattern to make an image. So I flipped through old magazines, old pieces of work I've had, pattern paper, and lots of different materials that I could grab my hold of, and just kind of picked out areas, thought, oh, that could work as a leaf, that would work really well as a plant pot, and constructed my own image from my own imagination. But it could also be a still life. It could be a portrait, it could be you could take your inspiration from anywhere, but it's just fun kind of sourcing that material to make it. So let's see how I get on. My last collage really focuses on existing images. So again, I flicked through some magazines and I found some pictures that I really thought sort of grabbed my attention and I thought could work well together. So I spend my time cutting them out and placing them together to kind of create a sort of surrealist landscape or fantasy landscape. Again, your inspiration could be anything. It could be a portrait, it could be a view from your window, or something from your imagination. You could also just see what's available in your magazines around you, and kind of just work with what you've got to create something. Let's see how I get on. So that's it for me today. I've already shown you quite a few examples of different kind of collages. We've also got the videos of the 3 that I've made, but I'm going to leave you with a few more just to inspire you and hopefully get you making. Thank you, bye.